How's it going, everyone? This is Dan for BladeReviews.com. Thank you for joining me and welcome to my review of the Hogue EX04, the knife that won American Made Knife of the Year at the 2013 Blade Show. I had the privilege of attending that show and actually meeting the man himself, Alan Olishewicz, custom knife maker and designer of the entire Hogue series of knives. And we talked about many things, including the EX04 here, a model that has intrigued me since I've seen its initial kind of concept photos and renderings of the knife. And I've been enjoying this one quite a bit, carrying and using it, and I'm very, very pleased to be able to sit down and provide some thoughts and opinions for you today. So let's get right into it. This is the version of the knife that has a 3.5-inch blade. Let me put a Benchmade Griptilian and a Spyderco Paramilitary 2 down next to the EX04 here for you for purposes of comparison. And this has an overall length of 8 inches, and it also weighs about 4.5 ounces. So it's a good size, larger EDC for me. That said, they do offer it with the 4-inch blade if you need something even bigger, and I'm sure that's a pretty good size knife. I happen to like this one just the way it is. Good, kind of practical weekend EDC knife for me without going overboard. Anyhow, let's talk a little bit about the blade on our EX04 here. It is a modified drop point, although I tend to call it the banana blade. Very interesting and unique blade shape here. And they do make this with a modified Wharncliffe, very aggressive blade shape modeled after Allen's custom work. And both the knives, both the patterns, feature this very unique double hollow ground blade here, which I really like. It's something that you're not going to find in any other production knives, and I'm sure it took a lot of work for Hogue to get this right, but man, it's cool and very, very unique. The knife is ground nice and thin. I don't really know if that double hollow grind is going to do a whole lot in the performance department, but it certainly cuts and it certainly looks sweet, and that's about all I care about. The steel on this knife is tried and true 154 cm. I've spoken about 154 at length, and it is an American-made steel. It's a good, hard-working steel. It's not an exotic steel or anything, but it'll get the job done if you take care of it. And this particular knife and all Hogue knives comes with a mirror polished edge, which is a really nice detail. And with these products here, with the Hogue line of knives, I think it's all about the details. It's obvious to me that they spend a lot of time considering them and making sure that everything is as perfect as possible. So I really do like that mirror polished edge. Anyhow, let's talk a little bit about the cutting performance of this knife. I did take the time to film a few cut tests in addition to just my general carry and use. And the first thing I did was cut some 1/4 inch thick sisal rope, about 12 feet of it, and 1 cut per inch. And the EX04 handled that easily. It was really not that bad, and sometimes that rope can be very difficult to get through. And ergonomically, it was comfortable to use. The blade performed really well, nice and sharp. Again, thinly ground, so aggressive and able to get through that difficult rope. And I had no complaints with how this knife cut rope. So I moved on to some cardboard and did a little cardboard cutting. Once again, performs really well. Zipped through that cardboard, no problems at all. And I like the way it worked quite a lot. So finally, I rounded things off with some 2x2s. Did some carving, a little bit of light whittling, and you know, this is not a Mora, it's not a bushcraft knife or anything like that, but it can certainly carve a little bit if you need it to, and it's a great test of the ergonomics, and the knife actually was very comfortable. I didn't have too many issues with hot spots, which is rare, honestly, with a folding knife. Usually they've got quite a bit of hot spots on them. Hogue EX04 is really nicely contoured, really well thought out. No super obnoxious jimping or anything like that. So let's talk a little bit about the handle here, since we are getting into some of the features of the handle. It's a very smooth, simple handle. all black G10 in this case, which I really like. They do offer this in a layered colored G10 that they call G Mascus, which is a little bit busy for my taste, so I'm really happy to see that Hogue went for an all black option on their EX04. And there's no patterns or stippling or anything like that in the handle. It's just nice and smooth, 3D contoured and machined, and really comfy, just super nice. And it helps, it doesn't detract from the wonderful profile of this knife, which I really, really like. So handle design is extremely practical. It's beautifully made. Everything lines up perfectly, and there are no liners. You do have a couple stainless steel bolsters around the pivot there, but there's no steel liners or anything like that. So it makes for a nice lightweight and balanced knife. Wonderfully, wonderfully finished. Let's talk a bit about the pocket clip here. It is right side tip down carry only, which is going to be an issue for a lot of people, frankly, including myself. I mean, I would love to see this come with a tip up option, or just if it came tip up and no option, that would be great. But, the way that the handle is designed, I could see how they might not think that they have room to put the pocket clip there and include a lanyard hole, or, they've got the stainless steel bolsters on this side, so maybe they want to screw the pocket clip into the stainless steel, and of course they're not going to be able to do it on this side since there's no steel over there. So, I see why they could have put the clip where they put it, but still I'll take a few minutes to maybe say that I prefer tip-up carry. As for actual carry, the knife does carry quite well. There's no issues there. The spoon clip may not be to everybody's visual taste, but it certainly does work. And the knife buries discreetly, easy to take in and out of the pocket, and it's relatively lightweight for its size. So I had no issues at all carrying this knife. Pretty thin, unobtrusive, really a good EDC option for me. Let's talk a little bit about the deployment and lockup here. You do have ambidextrous thumb studs that are easy to get at, whether you are right-handed or left-handed like me. The knife just flies open. There are no bearings, there are no washers, there's no spring assist, there's nothing in here, but still the knife is very smooth in its operation and is easy to get open, which is great to see. And for your locking mechanism, you of course have this button lock or plunge lock. It's the same lock that you'll find on the EX01, and I like that. It's a bit of a departure from the titanium frame locks that you're finding on a lot of high-end production folders these days. So I'm just happy to see Hogue kind of step away from the pack and do their own thing and do it as well as they do. I mean, they really have done an outstanding job here. I love all the custom hardware. Beautiful, matches nicely. It's a little busy here with this external safety. I'd love to just see this gone, although I will say this time they did make sure to make it purposeful, so this is not going to accidentally open. This is a forward safety here, so if you press it forward, you're not going to be able to unlock the knife. But that said, it does work. It works well, and it makes for a very robust folding knife. So let's talk final thoughts on the EX04 here. I really like it a lot. I loved it ever since I saw the first concept renderings, and I liked it at Blade Show. I was very happy to see it get some awards and accolades. I think it's very well deserved. It's beautifully made. Alan did a tremendous job with the design of the knife. It flows wonderfully. Everything works flawlessly. Beautiful, elegant, upscale kind of finishes here. I like the all black. It is still interesting, but it's not over the top or distracting or kind of goofy, which, frankly, I thought the handle on the EX01 was just a little bit much with all the stuff going on with it. So this is just a nice, clean knife. It'll appeal to people who are looking for a user, but also want something that they can enjoy and admire every day. And I definitely do recommend it if you're at all interested in the EX04. So that'll do it for the review, guys. Once again, this is Dan for BladeReviews.com. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to head on over to my website if you want to read a full write-up on the EX04. And I will be back soon with another knife review. So take care, and I'll talk to you then.